Welcome to the Until We Agree podcast, True Crime Edition. This week, we're tackling Big Flower head on. They came for us, and there's a mystery on the table. And this music's getting loud, which means it's time to hit it, Hutch.
You know what it is now. Boys and girls of the podcast world, Matt and Tyler on the mics. They're gonna stay here until they agree. They're gonna stay here until they agree. Oh, thank you for listening. This show's called Until We Agree. Oh, thank you for listening.
I know what you're thinking. Is it just Tyler this episode? No, that was actually Matt from Until We Agree doing vocals for the.
I know, and people thought that was an instrument for sure.
Yeah, and it's that time of year where Pentatonics thaws out and starts posting stuff and doing concerts, and I figured it would be my shot to do it too, a cappella version. Until We Agree. Welcome back to Until We Agree. Crazy week, and I know we say that a lot. Actually, a crazy week though this time.
It's always a crazy week until we agree, but yeah, no, we have things to get to the bottom of.
Like actually, like this is not a joke. I don't know where we're at, and frankly, in our well-being, and then just like the whole concept of being a public figure on a podcast. I don't know what comes after this, because should we just give some context perhaps, because maybe people don't know.
Yeah.
If you're not,
well, and what they have the context at Until We Agree on Instagram and TikTok.
Right. And so they have,
but if you're not there,
they have no reason not to have the context. But if you're new,
right,
maybe this is your first introduction. We're not a true crime podcast usually, but today is a special exception because there's a true crime that we're trying to get to the bottom of.
And it happened to us.
It happened to us. It happened kind of to me, but frankly, you should feel more threatened by what happened.
I do, and it's because there was a direct threat on my life.
Right, and I am now in Big Flower's back pocket, from what they think, so I'm feeling comfortable. But what happened? Let's go back 2 episodes. Lay out for everyone what happened 2 episodes ago.
So I had just come back from Europe, and I had made an observation, if we want to be grammatically correct here,
Okay.
That, you know, who else other than flower shops across Europe and the world, we don't know, would benefit more from the Queen dying, because there were flowers all over the Buckingham Palace when the Queen died a couple years ago.
And
so then we kept digging.
They did not give those away for free. I would bet money.
No. They cost money. And so we realized, like, oh, Big Flower. It's the flower industrial complex.
Conglomerate, yeah.
It's they're behind deaths across the world, from what we believe, allegedly.
I think
2 hands in the air right now, allegedly.
Sure. And to boost engagement, unalivings across the world.
Yes, unalivings across the world. We have been flagged apparently for saying the K word. Yeah. But yeah, so they have been unaliving people across the world in order to sell flowers. Mm-hmm. And so that's a couple episodes ago.
And
we uncovered that
you can't reuse flowers. It's a genius. It's a genius business plan.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Go bad.
So continue. Sorry.
No, yeah, and then we just keep like that. We hadn't even thought of that. We just keep uncovering new details. Mm-hmm. But anyways, that was 2 episodes ago. Then last episode, we get a cease and desist.
Yeah. Which
maybe we have the clip of me reading it, but maybe we don't want to edit that in. Basically,
hit it, Tyler.
I'm Matt Damon.
It's not going to be in. Go back and listen.
Go back and listen. But it's basically going through. It's saying, we need you to stop talking about us, right? And then it says, or you're going to get a very special delivery of flowers at the very end,
right?
Which sounds like a threat to us.
It sounds like frankly, it sounds like a joke and a threat, but both need to be taken seriously. Oh,
yeah, and we thought it was fun.
Where you can see just go to Instagram. It's on Instagram. Go look there at Until We Agree.
Yeah, this is all on Instagram. And so that brings us to, what night was this?
That was on.
I got a frantic text.
It was on Wednesday. And for context, let me pull the note up. So I get a text from my roommate because I'm actually, this is where I get a little confused, because my friends would have known I was out of town for work, and I'll leave it there for now. But we get a delivery of flowers, me and my roommate, to my house, and my roommate texts me, who has nothing to do with the podcast. He's an absolute rat who we tried to bring on once, and he ruined the entire show.
He probably thought it was nice because he can't read. We've discovered that.
That's true.
If you're deep in lore on the podcast, he can't read, and so we probably he probably just assumed it was a nice batch of flowers being sent.
Yeah,
over.
he has no idea. All he knows is we got flowers, and so he texts me and says that we got flowers, and so he sends me a picture of the note that's attached to the flowers, and this feels like it's coming from like a 1-800-flower situation. One of Big Flower's biggest what would be the word? Let's just call him a company. Probably one of the biggest
Crusaders,
no do-gooders, if you will, of allegedly.
I won't, but
yeah. I wouldn't either, because I'm the one who's actually backpedaled from all this. I don't want to be involved in it. Tyler wants to be involved, and so
you see how you said pedaled?
It never ends. It never ends with these people.
It never ends.
Oh.
They're consuming our lives.
So we get this note on the flowers. Nice bouquet of flowers, frankly. There's roses and stuff involved. Like it's carrying a price tag. And the note says, "You made the right choice. We look forward to further collaborations with you, Matt. However, Tyler remains on thin ice. From Big Flower."
And this is okay. And also, it's because you sold me out last episode.
I didn't sell you.
They're cool with you now, but now I'm on thin ice
because I backed off. Remember when we were told to cease and desist? I ceased and desisted. You didn't.
Okay, that's not true entirely, because we both were talking about it, and we're talking about the cease and desist.
Yeah.
And then
I said they can do no wrong, and that was enough for them. I'm on their side.
Why do you keep saying that, though? Because when the cameras turn off, and by cameras I mean microphones, this is an audio medium.
Yeah.
Matt, listen, I'm gonna.
What you're about to say?
Call you
what you're
out
about to say is all hearsay.
You're
about to say all hearsay, and there's no proof of this. But go ahead.
Matt detests Big Flower off the mics.
Don't say that. You have no proof of that. You're just saying stuff now to get me in trouble and bring me back down to your dirty, corrupt little level.
I'm corrupt. You're
whistleblower.
With the biggest of flowers.
Whistleblower.
Whistleblower. Biggest of flowers.
Whistleblower. I hardly even know her.
We got an Edward Snowden on our hands.
You're the Edward Snowden. And
he's a hero.
I hardly even know her. Yeah.
Is he a hero? I don't even know
if he's alive, and I don't know if he's a hero.
I think he is. No, I think he is. I don't know if he's a hero either. But what I do know is that Big Flower's coming, and one of our followers has betrayed us by doxing us to Big Flower, and we don't know who it is.
Right, and
that's the mystery.
And so we had to figure out who either sold us out to Big Flower or who is playing some nasty, dirty prank that has kept me up for nights on end. That's where we're at right now. And you've told me, we talked earlier today, you told me you have one theory. I have 6 theories, give or take a few.
6?
Well, there's too many moving pieces, and we don't have enough information yet. If I can, though, I want to give to you all the details that I have as well from the person who received the flowers.
Yes, please do.
So on these flowers, the front one has that note, and then there's another piece of paper behind that has like the receipt information. The receipt information has only my personal contact information. It has my name, my address, which obviously it has my address. It was sent to me, my phone number, and it has a date that the flowers were ordered. And the flowers...
What was the date the flowers were ordered?
The flowers were ordered on last Tuesday, which was the day the podcast came out. And so that narrows it down to anyone. It can only be people who listened to that episode on Tuesday. Only on Tuesday. There was no other day they could listen to it and send us flowers. They arrived on Wednesday, but they were sent on Tuesday.
That's a quick process. That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Big Flower has a speedy operation, but okay. Do you want to go through any of your theories first? Because I really only have the one, and I'm sure you have the same bunch of people in, because it narrows it down to there's people in your circle that have to have your address and phone number, obviously, and that's who betrayed us.
Yes.
But the only people I can think of are 2 little rats that we helped, Zach and Katie. Yeah.
And we did help
because there's other options, but I just don't. I think it's them. I don't know why.
I don't disagree. Here's what I know. they have to
Okay.
have. We're being lied to. Someone has lied to me because I have turned over every leaf that I think is possible.
Hey, Rat Pack Editor Matt here. I think he probably meant turned over every stone possible.
And the people, everyone's acting surprised when I confronted them about this. I tried to surprise attack them before we posted anything, and I just wanted to get their thoughts on what happened. So Zach and Katie were one of my thoughts. They have denied. That's all I can say about them for now. Because
What's their alibi?
that's a great point. I haven't checked. What's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to check all these people's like credit card histories or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I had to gather more evidence, and it's hard evidence to gather, frankly, because they didn't leave a very deep paper trail.
And it's invading. It's very invasive to find this evidence. I feel like at this point,
Yeah.
if it's not going to have like an order number that we can look up.
There might be. I need to go check
Um,
that. There might be an order number. I wonder what we can do with that. That's a good point. Let me look into that more. So more theories I have, because what happened is when me and my roommate moved into this place, we hosted a couple parties. We moved in last December, and there's big events that have happened since last December that like you could like have friends over and you would have an invite sent out to them. Let me put you on to New Year's Eve. Have you ever heard of New Year's Eve?
I've heard
Yeah,
of it.
and so that's a holiday that happens in December and January. It's one of the few holidays that happens on 2 days. We had a New Year's Eve party.
Well, no.
What?
New Year's Eve doesn't happen on
Well, it's a New
Tuesdays.
Year's Eve party. The party continues
Sure.
into New Year's Day, but it's still a New Year's Eve party. Anyways, that
Well, wouldn't it be a? We can get into this later, but
Listen-
wouldn't it be a New Year's
listen-
party once midnight rolls around?
add that to the agenda on the back end. We'll circle back to that.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll circle back to that. We've got more
Yeah,
pressing
yeah.
matters, I think.
So, and then we had a Super Bowl party.
Sure.
And on both of those, I went on Google Slides and I made a fun little invitation with mine and Daniel's faces, photoshopped onto people's bodies, and then around us saying New Year's Eve Super Bowl party, and then with my address added. So a lot.
Right,
I
so
sent that
people
out
can find
to
the place and get
I sent
there.
that out to a lot of people, and everyone I think I'm suspicious of received this invitation. So yes, Zach and Katie.
Okay. So I didn't narrow it down at all, by the way.
I'm still narrowing down.
Okay.
That was just where that's where I'm sure they got the information from. That is a detail that cannot be avoided because it just exists. That my address is out to these people. Zach,
I don't even have your address.
yes, you do.
Isn't that crazy?
I invited you. No, I don't actually. I invited you to something
I
else, but
don't-
it wasn't at my house.
I
The-
don't have your
The
address.
engagement party. That's a good. Thank you for saying that. Because you're one of my suspects.
I'm
Nope,
clear.
you're one of my suspects still. I think you figured it out somehow. So, Tyler.
I mean, I easily could have, but I did
Yeah.
not do that.
Tyler is one of my suspects.
Okay.
My own
I still am not convinced that it wasn't you.
my own fiance is one of my suspects.
That's a heavy suspect for me as well.
So what I'm gonna say, you can we'll talk about me more if we want to. I will tell you, I was out of the state, and why would I order? Because I couldn't make any content about this until I got home. So why would I
Right.
order on a Tuesday and then get them be delivered on Wednesday and then just sit there until Saturday? I didn't see them
I
until
don't
Saturday.
think it's you because you also texted me and you're like, "What do you know about
Yeah,
this?" And I didn't know a thing.
I was truly frantic
So-
and surprised, and you can believe that or not, but I didn't do this, and I'm innocent in this, and I need the Rat Pack to trust me enough for that. So yeah, so you, Zach and Katie, Brittany, I'm gonna throw out a name right here.
Okay. Sure.
Kim.
Yeah. No.
Kim is my leading suspect right now.
I just thought she was too loyal for that.
I
to be
did too,
honest.
but I also think she might be. I don't think she sold us out to Big Flower. I think she just is a fiend for content. And so that's
Wow.
my thought right now is Kim's my leading suspect right now, but I have pressed her pretty hard, and she is I will admit
Unwavering.
unwavering and somewhat convincing that it's not her. But the pieces just don't make sense for it to be anyone else more than her at this point. So, who else do we have? Austin, our CEO, who he was on an episode when I got engaged. He gave some marital advice to me.
Yes, he did.
So the Rat Pack is familiar with Austin. Austin is a loyal listener. I texted him. He doesn't have Instagram anymore, so he never saw the content. But I posted onto my private story where his wife was able to see, and she also asked if he was the one who did it to him before I got to ask him, and he denied it twice to his own wife, who mothered his own child.
Who fought out.
He is fathering his
Well,
child. She
okay.
has mothered his child.
I don't think he would do that to us.
I don't
either.
think he would do that. Yeah. First of all, he wouldn't do that his wife, but then on a higher level, he would not do that to Matt and Tyler because
and he's left-handed.
He's left-handed, which makes him British, which means he was fond of the Queen. We can't forget that. So
yes,
I don't think it's Austin, but it was one of those leaves I had to turn over.
Hey, Rat Pack editor Matt again. This guy needs to learn the difference between a leaf and a stone. Anyways, have a great week, Rat Pack.
He just had a baby. I can't imagine he's spending money on flowers because these were not cheap flowers. I know I'm getting married now.
This is a $50, $60 bouquet of flowers. If I had to
interesting that you
ballpark
knew so fast a good number for a bouquet of flowers. That was a pretty accurate price because someone else.
It looked like a nice
Someone else did the exact same thing, and it was Kim. Kim said, "This is a $50 bouquet of flowers."
But that makes me think it's not her because she wouldn't throw out a price if she did buy
I think
them.
she
You know
let
what I
her
mean?
guard down for a second in that moment. I think I was pressing hard enough to, and then I disarmed her for a second to be like, "Oh, maybe it's not you." And then she goes, "Yeah, this is like a $50 bouquet of flowers." And I go, "Interesting that you knew a number so readily." I can't not.
But do
be
we know?
convinced
I
it's
feel like
her.
we could have. I feel like we could have looked up the exact bouquet and figured out how much it is.
Maybe I will. Maybe I should have come more prepared for this. But
Yeah, it seems like you didn't do any digging actually.
I took one
with the physical evidence that you have.
I took one piece of paper and I moved it to read the second piece of paper. You're right. That's all I've done. But I have asked people, and I don't know. I've asked everyone I would have thought had listened to the episode that would know where I live, and I don't know. They're all saying no, but it has to be one of them. Or one last possibility that we may be not taking seriously enough. It's Big Flower.
Yep.
But it could just.
Do they not have a vessel in which they're entrusting to dox us and send? Because I don't know how powerful Big Flower is at finding addresses.
Bro,
somebody gave it to them.
They killed the queen.
Okay.
That's true.
Wait.
Allegedly killed the queen. You don't
They
think,
allegedly
you don't think
unalived the queen.
they have the resources to find out where anyone lives. The Yellow Pages knows where people live.
That's true.
And there's flower shops in the Yellow Pages. There's pieces everywhere.
There's connections everywhere. If there was a bulletin board with all the pieces, there'd be red lines like connecting.
And
everything,
I'd be in front of it, pulling my hair out, not knowing what's happening. So here we are.
So those are your suspects.
Those are my suspects. I would love to know your thoughts on my current suspects and if there's any more you're thinking of.
Okay. So let's run down the list. We got Kim. That sounds likely.
Right.
But where you thought she let her guard down, I think she genuinely didn't. But I wasn't there for the conversation, so I just don't know. As for Austin, I don't think he did it. He's got his hands full.
Hands
with
full of a baby, yeah.
Including his left hand, in which he's dominant. Then we got Zach and Katie.
Yeah. Dual income, no kids.
They have their little beverage thing.
Yeah.
That's all fixed. They have money coming in
out the wazoo.
It doesn't have to go. Yeah, it doesn't have to go to repairing that anymore.
Burning a hole in their pockets, if I may say.
So that makes sense to me because they want to probably get us back for giving them such great advice.
Yeah, stuff that they couldn't work through by themselves as a couple. They had to bring us in. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, they do have. They do have a reason. That's right.
I do feel like Daniel, would be like the first and easiest suspect to clear.
Yeah, because I know. Okay, go ahead.
He just doesn't care,
right? And he doesn't know how to read his credit card. Yeah,
well, that and imagine typing that.
Yeah, there were 0 typos. Important to note.
Yeah, and then it gets to Brittany, your fiance, and I could see it. I could see it.
I could see it too. I don't want to put her finances on blast. So I'm not going to. We're spending a lot of money on a wedding right now.
Right, that's the thing. Is
a lot of money.
Her funds are tied up, dealing with more important flowers.
We spent so much money on flowers to this point, and she says that she would never buy those kind of flowers. She's not fond of the type of flowers that were delivered, so I don't think she has in her gut the ability to buy those flowers for me. She would buy something that she would find aesthetically pleasing as well.
Right, but I don't think the point of these flowers were to look nice. It was to threaten, unaliving members of Until We Agree.
Yeah, Tyler first for sure. But yeah, that's fair. I'm not prepared to rule her out, but it would be one of those things where it's like a a twist of fates that I would not see coming. It would be the one that would catch me off guard the most. The most Scooby-Doo-esque of all the suspects would be Brittany for me.
And Big Flower wouldn't want to turn her against you because in order to sell more flowers for a wedding, they would need you guys to stay together.
Right. Yeah. Not at this time. If maybe in a year, I would suspect her more. But at this current time, she is not in a place to do that.
Yeah, they need to cash in on the wedding before they cash in on an unaliving
ceremony.
Ceremony.
Yeah. So, who else do we have?
Okay.
Oh, I noticed you brushed over yourself multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, I can defend myself as much, but all I can really say is I got a text asking what I knew about it, and I obviously didn't know anything. I will say the biggest thing in my case would be that it did come so fast after the episode. So, like, it's either a very loyal listener or somebody on the podcast, and I am crossing you off, which means I'm crossing me off. I would happily send you my credit card statements to confirm that it wasn't me as the thing.
Yeah, and you got some dirty stuff on there. So to prove yourself innocent and show me what stuff you're buying on a monthly basis, I can respect that. And that's why I don't suspect you as well. Convenient alibi that you happen to be another co-host on this show, but right now I'm leaning towards believing that for sure.
So, like, this investigation feels like it's at a dead end a little bit.
It's well, yes, 100% at a dead end right now.
We need a confession is what we need.
We need a confession. I think I've been hesitant to dig too deeply until we posted this episode because I kind of wanted to get your feedback and capture this moment before we actually start digging. You know, I didn't want to waste receiving these flowers and just solve it before we could really dive into solving it together. Because we're a team, you and I. People forget that we used to be friends.
That's true. And it will be a giant cliffhanger because next week's episode is a Christmas Eve special.
A Christmas special, yeah. So
we're not gonna spoil right now, but it's a short and sweet.
You don't want to miss it though. It's fun.
Yeah. So it'll be a fun little episode. And then hopefully the next episode we'll know who did this.
It's a bummer that we're really in the most festive time of the year and we're dealing with such sad topics, but we're going to get down to the bottom of it. I'm going to start digging. I'm going to start pressing people even harder because I am almost positive, Kim, that it's someone who we listed, Kim, on this episode, Kim, and I'm going to start figuring out, Kim, who actually did it. Now I'm going to start looking for evidence. I'm going to start asking harder questions than just, what do you know about this? I think you did it. I'm going to actually get some information, Kim. So that's where I'm at.
Well, just to jump forward real quick, and
Kim,
I know we have a few Q&As, but one from Kim is, I saw the Insta post, how's this sleuthing?
Right.
That's from Kim.
So,
and you know those like documentaries, maybe even true crime as this is, that the killer always likes to stay way too close.
Right.
Or the unaliver always likes to stay way too close
the unaliver, yeah.
to the crime and to the, the aftermath. They go to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
With asking that question. All right.
They always return to the scene of the crime.
I know who it is.
Who do you think it is?
Let's say it on 3.
1,
2, 3.
Hutch.
Kim.
Oh. Whoa. Yeah, no, I definitely think it's Kim. While we're at it, hit it, Hutch. So yeah, I think it's Kim. You think it's Kim. Kim knows if it's Kim or not, and she's not going to talk about it. So, thank you for the Q&A question, Kim. It only proved us more confident that it's you.
She messed up. She slipped.
Yeah, she did. So, are we good on this? For now, are we good to leave this where it's at and just?
I feel like the trail's gone cold, and we'll pick it up and dig a little deeper and have some more information.
Yeah.
Not next episode, but after the Christmas special.
Yeah.
So, I see on the agenda here it says plane guy, and
sure.
For those wondering, that's spelled Plane as in airplane.
As an airplane, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. I texted you about this on Monday or Tuesday last week because I think this is going to be somewhat of a hearty debate. And I know we haven't had a hearty debate in a while because I'm about to say something somewhat controversial. I, Matt from Until We Agree, was flying out for work to North Carolina last week, and I had a layover. I was flying. Please sponsor us, Delta. I was flying Delta, and when you live in the Southeast or really anywhere on the East Coast and you have a flight for Delta, you have a layover where? This is where Tyler would say Atlanta, because everyone knows
Atlanta.
Delta flies through Atlanta all the time. So
I don't fly Delta much. Sorry.
that's okay. You're forgiven.
I should have known that. It's the giant airport
Yeah,
on the East
sure.
Coast.
Okay, so that means I have 2 flights on Monday morning, 2 flights on Friday morning. I'm talking about flight 1 of 4, early in the morning from Nashville to Atlanta. I come across something that I've never come across ever before on a flight. Nobody
Okay.
I hate to say it, I booked this flight late. I didn't want to sit this far back. I was sitting in seat 24F. 24F, I'll admit it, I was 24F. I would say
That's the aisle.
That's
is that
that's
the aisle
window.
or is that the window?
24 window right side plane. And in 23 B and C, which is row 23, left side, middle seat and aisle seat, there's
Yep.
2 people who I will say are the perpetrators. But what happens is from at least I didn't look backwards, but from my row forward until I'll say row 12 or 11, not a single person got up and stood in the aisle. Not a single person. And I've never seen that before. So.
What?
Right. Is that not crazy to you, or is that crazy?
That you would expect people to stand in the aisle?
Yes. You know how on planes, people always, I didn't specify. Right when the plane lands and we get to the airport.
Oh, I thought you meant like during mid-flight. Yeah, it drives me insane when people get up, like they can get off the plane immediately when it lands.
Right, and I could see where the confusion was because I never said that, and that's my fault.
Yep.
But yeah, and it used to drive me crazy too because it kind of made me feel uneasy. Like I know these people haven't walked past me yet, like people behind me, but they might, and I don't like that. Like I don't like throwing off the whole flow of everything. But what happened, and it changed my perspective completely. I will never be someone who stands up in the aisle when a flight ends. I'll never be that person. I came to really respect having those people on the plane because, like I was saying, people in row 23, seats B and C, from Nashville to Atlanta, it was like the 5:15 a.m. flight last Monday, whatever day that was. I think it was December 5th. So if they're listening, if you know someone who was on that flight and you know these people and can be connected to them, they get up. They don't know each other. They're 2 solo flyers. I know for a fact because they could not be more different of people. They both stand up and they both walk from row 23 to, I'll say, row 11. And no one stands up and blocks their way. So they get to move all the way up to the front. And like at that point, the difference between getting off a plane when you're on row 13, because I was on row 14 on the 2 flights back on Friday.
It's way better.
Even like if you think about it, the difference between getting off on row 14 versus row 28, it doesn't take twice as long to get off from row 28. It takes like 3 times as long because the delays only continue to grow the further back in the plane you go. So if it takes row 14 5 minutes to get off the plane, row 28 is taking 15 minutes to get off the plane. Does that make sense? It's not a 10-minute thing, even though it's twice as long.
Yeah, no, it's not linear.
It's not linear. It's exponential, you could argue. So this is my debate is now saying I'm okay with people who stand up in the aisle, and I will no longer hold grudges against them as long as they're not moving up a row or moving forward. I will put my own anxieties to the side of that fear that they're going to do that and just that lingering feeling they have of standing over me and lurking. I'm going to put that away.
I just don't see the point.
What do you mean?
Like, it's not speeding you up.
It's
like
not.
If you stand up 20 seconds before you get to actually go so you can get your bag up top and head out, that makes sense. But standing up and standing for 15 minutes, what good is that going to do for you?
It doesn't.
It's just adding to the public anxiety, and we're just all sitting there watching you stand up, waiting. It's not fun for anyone, especially not you standing.
Right, and I totally agree with that. I do see a point now, though, because I don't want those rats, I'll call them rats, and not even the good rats from Until We Agree. If you follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Until We Agree, you become a Rat Pack member. These are just dirty little stinky rats.
But they obviously didn't have any bags, right? So like that one doesn't bother me as much.
They did. They just got up and got their bags and they have to move forward, like way forward.
Okay, no, they are rats.
But how is that fair?
It's not fair. But it's not on people to stand up to not let them through. It's just that they shouldn't be doing that either.
Right. But
you can't, it's an honor system. You can't take advantage of the fact that nobody's standing up by shooting to the front of the plane. But just because nobody's standing up, you just wait your turn like a normal human being.
But we can't depend on the goodwill of humanity to always not be selfish. There's always going to be people who are going to exploit any chance they get to move up 5 minutes, 10 minutes. There's always going to be people who think that their time is more valuable than yours. And I'll say it, it's only heroes who put aside their own social cues and knowledge of how society works, who stand up and look like fools in the middle of the airplane for 15 minutes, who stop those people. I'm not a hero. I'll never be a hero, and I'm okay with that. But I want heroes in my life to save me and to save me the trouble, because what happened is those people, when they got to row 11, when it was time for row 11 to stand up and get their bags, they can't get to their bags because there's just two people standing in the aisle. It completely shifted everything, and it slowed us down even more. It's like when you're in rush hour traffic and someone cuts you off, you think, oh, that doesn't do anything. If someone cuts me off and I hit my brakes, the person behind me hits their brakes. The person behind them hits their brakes.
Butterfly effect.
It only continues to grow. And so the inconvenience of me being the first person cut off is 3 or 4 seconds. But that's how people don't know this. That's how traffic happens, is people hitting their brakes hard, and it slows the entire flow of traffic down behind them. And that's when we get we'll get into this glob of cars, and then all of a sudden it just ends.
All of a sudden it's just fast.
And you're like, how was I just in 45 minutes of traffic?
Way up to the bottleneck.
Exactly.
And then you pass the bottleneck.
But what was the bottleneck? Just someone hitting their brakes, and that just compounded over cars and cars of traffic. That's what happened. And what if someone misses their flight because of that? It's
interesting you say that, because when I went to Europe, we had multiple layovers and that sort of thing, where it was pushing it, especially that one. I told the whole story, go back and listen, where we were really pushing it because there was a delay, and they literally called over the intercom. They're like, everybody raise your hand if you're on, and they listed a bunch of flight. And so you raise your hand and you put your little light on, and they say, okay, look around. These people get off the plane first. I literally watched people who did not have their light on still get up and get off the plane first.
And would you say that's selfish?
Yes, incredibly. But you can't have people standing in that scenario, because then they're blocking the people who have the layovers that need to get off too. That's
Sure.
just people that are being selfish just because.
Right. And that's a great point. I've never experienced that myself, and I would then turn that back on the heroes and say they're no longer heroes, because now they're looking for a spotlight now. They're looking to put their own, because a hero puts their own selfishness aside. I am too socially aware to stand up and stand in the aisle and look like a fool. These people don't care about their social hierarchy anymore. They just want to stop the people from behind them from moving. If they move up one row, they're no longer who I'm talking about. If they stand up when they're told that there's people behind them that need to catch a flight, and they're going to be a reason that they don't hit their flight, they're not a hero anymore. They're being selfish. There's a fine line between selfishness and unselfishness.
In this scenario, they're not just standing up, because they can't stand up, because then they'd be in the way, and that would be even more of an issue. These people are just selfish people who get up, see the opportunity to get up and get through the path free of obstacles, acting as if they have the layover when they didn't turn their light on saying they had a layover, but they see the free path and they take it.
And I would say seats 23B
it's
and
stolen valor.
Yeah, 23B, 23C would have been those people 100%.
It's unfortunate.
It's sad. And all that being said, are you okay with my stance that they're heroes, or are you still out on standers?
I don't think they're heroes. I think that's a bit much.
Yeah, they said that about Iron Man too.
The movie Iron Man 2?
No, Iron Man also. Sorry. But he ended up being a hero. Remember Thanos?
No, I remember Thanos.
Thanos wanted to kill half of humanity, and Tony Stark, Iron Man, stepped in and stopped that.
I think a lot of Avengers did.
Yeah, but which one put their life on the line to actually do it? Iron Man and Black Widow and Vision. Okay, the point.
So a lot of
okay,
Avengers.
but the point. Okay, but the point is Gamora. But the point is, we need heroes in our lives, and these people act as heroes to stop people from delaying everyone else's time. I'm gonna say it. On my layover, I was in the Atlanta airport for for no time at all. I got to my next gate just in time. And it actually was very nice, because I got because when you fly for work, your business usually gets you like priority boarding. And this plane, I ended up going to a smaller town in North Carolina, not like a major city. And so you don't get the big planes going to smaller towns. You get like the smaller planes that you had to gate check a lot of bags. Fortunately, I was in boarding group 5, so I didn't have to do that. But I walked up to the gate as they were calling boarding group 5. What if I had to check my bag because of the inconvenience of others who pushed me back 2 or 3 minutes? Then I had to board with group 6, and they're all gate checking their bags. And then what? Now I look like a fool who has to wait on a carry-on at a carousel, a baggage carousel. Anyways, I think
I mean, I hear you. I don't think people who stand up on planes are heroes now.
I just respect them too much now because I've seen what happens if we don't have them.
You've seen what they can do, and they've shown you the world.
What does the Joker do without Batman around? Probably a lot more, I don't know. That's all I had to say on the subject.
Who's the Joker and who's Batman in this scenario?
The Joker is 23B, 23C, who are getting up and walking up 12
and
aisles.
Batman are people standing up.
Yes. What's your point?
It just feels like maybe that's not the most fair equivalency. But
okay, what if I put you onto this for a second? Batman's not a real person, and these people are real. So if anything, they're bigger heroes. People dress up as Batman and take money from tourists on Times Square. By the way, follow us on Instagram at Until We Agree when you get to 10,000 followers or 5,000. What did we say we were doing? 5,000, 10,000?
5,000
for
we're
New
going
York.
To Times Square. 10,000 we're going to Lebanon.
Right. Yeah, so 5,000 followers, we're going to Times Square and racing a foot race, 40-yard dash in the middle of Times Square with Batmans and Elmos all around us trying to steal money from us.
Please note, Matt has had multiple knee surgeries.
No, just
the guy is
just torn MCLs. Never, no surgeries. Except on my
they're ready to blow.
On my there's a good chance that's true. Except for my small intestine has had surgery because of Crohn's disease. Okay. No cure for it, by the way.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to Q&A.
We got a Q&A to get to.
Kim asks, I saw the Insta post. How's the sleuthing? Yeah, we're calling you out again, Kim. We know it's you. We're gonna figure it out. Ronnie asks, and if you want to leave a Q&A like Ronnie or Kim or Matt, who's also coming up here soon, comment on Spotify. Give your thoughts on the episode on Spotify. Give 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read those too. Follow us on Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube. We're everywhere. Give us a follow there. Give us a like, and help us boost this show to the moon and get us to Lebanon. Ronnie asks, who's number 5, Matt? Which I believe is a call out to Spotify Wrapped last week, where I wouldn't talk about my number 5 because he got canceled and I don't support him. And I was trying hard to boost him off my Spotify Wrapped, and it didn't work. I didn't get enough other listeners, other artists above him.
You gotta tell the people.
I don't want to tell the people because
he got TikTok canceled for don't say his name. He got TikTok canceled for like making up this crazy story about how his family died, but really his mom's alive, like all this crazy stuff.
All this crazy
and
stuff.
And he's just this weird guy.
And he's not even Australian and has an accent. If that's not enough information for you, you might have
the worst and the craziest part of the story is his music's not good and it's on Matt's top 5.
What's so unfortunate is it's not good, and I'm disappointed in it, even as just a person who listens to music.
Yeah.
I don't even like it anymore. And I don't know what came over me. I had a bad stretch and I just don't want to talk about it anymore. And I hope Ronnie can respect that. But Ronnie, please keep leaving comments on your thoughts on the episodes. We really come to love them. So Matt also asks, do you want to read this one?
In all caps, you guys had Matt Damon, star of the movie Downsizing, on the pod?
Yes, we did. If you missed it, we had him on last week at the very end of the episode after the last Hutch. So go back and give that episode a listen if you want to hear Matt Damon. We have like some weird connections to him. We're big fans of some of his work, and so we were able to get him on. So that was really, really cool of him. But yeah, check that out.
Let's name our favorite Matt Damon movies. Okay. Number 1 would obviously be
Euro Trip.
Downsizing. Oh.
No, Euro Trip for me. Number 2. Downsizing.
The Martian.
Okay, I can respect that.
Number 3. Good Will
Thor
Hunting.
Ragnarok. That doesn't feel like the right answer. I couldn't think of more Matt Damon.
Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah, I remember he plays he has a cameo in it. He plays Thor or Loki in the stage play on Thor Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, and next Oppenheimer.
That
okay.
and
then one more Matt Damon movie that I think I think we'd love is
that Michael Jordan shoe movie.
Oh, Air. We love Air.
Yeah, we love Air. Breathe it every day. So that's Q&A. If you want to be on Q&A next week, first of all, Merry Christmas. And leave a comment on Instagram podcast. Leave us a comment anywhere. And hit it, Hutch.
Oh, thank you for listening.
Hey, I'm Matt Damon from Air.
Hey, I'm jumping here.
Hey, I'm Matt Damon from Oppenheimer. Put that bomb down, man.
Hey, I'm Matt Damon from Downsizing. It's getting small out here.
Oh. Hey, I'm Matt Damon from Goodwill Hunting. What are you, an apple? Hey, I'm Matt Damon from The Martian. What am I doing on Mars, man?